Okay, actually, now that I just turned on the stream, I need to check if I have to go switch my laundry over. I'll tell you what the plan is
Okay,
in a moment.
now that I just turned on the stream,
Why can I hear myself?
switch my laundry over.
I'll tell you what the plan is in a moment. Why can I hear myself? That's why. Okay. Fucking laundry app has a, like, it has a Bluetooth controller. You have to this is actually so annoying to me, but you have to access the washing machine via Bluetooth. And so there's like there's different washing machines in the apartment. You have to select which one you're gonna use using the Bluetooth. It's a bit annoying. Okay, so what's the plan today? The plan today is essentially just to figure out how documentation works so that we can start going through Hecka and adding some documentation to the associative algebras class, essentially. Just as a little recap, why are we doing this? So there's a few things of functionality that I want to do, and it's a little bit more pertinent now. In the last couple days, a paper came out showing something along the lines of there are central simple algebras that don't contain genus 1 curves. And so we're adding some functionality to the associative algebras class in Hecka, with the end goal being that we can compute invariance of these central simple algebras. So define some like symbol algebra and then check what its exponent is, but also figure out what like class and some Brouwer group associated to some chosen Galois extension of the base field is. So got a central simple algebra over say Q, pick some finite Galois extension, and then make sure that Galois extension splits your algebra. Check inside of the second cohomology group of that Galois extension with coefficients in the units or whatever, what exactly a cocycle is that gives you the class of this central simple algebra split by that Galois extension. And so once we have that, it shouldn't be too hard to check for a given elliptic curve whether or not that elliptic curve splits this algebra. So what I want to do is something like this. I want to pick a specific algebra, like say of degree 17 over Q. And then I want to maybe ordering elliptic curves by conductor, check if there are any elliptic curves with torsors of a given period that split such an algebra. So we'll check like, okay, degree 17 algebra, are there any torsors for algebras of conductor up to 1 billion that have period 17, which split this algebra? That's the plan. And that's going to take a bit of work, I think, to do. And in the meantime, we've figured out kind of a lot, it feels, about how the functionality in Hecka's associative algebra class goes. And so we're going to try to add some details in there to just try to make the usability of the package a little bit nicer. And so to do that, we kind of have to figure out how documentation goes in Julia, which is a whole separate thing. So let's see. So there's this whole documenter.jl functionality for Julia, which generates the documentation. And there's a lot. There's like a lot, in my opinion, for what you actually need to go through. This is like just the documentation for just this one package, and Heka in particular actually doesn't use the Documenter package. It uses Documenter Vitae, which is like a package on top of the Documenter package. So I see that like we can go in and edit, and then we'll just create a pull request that will add to this markdown, but we don't exactly want to do that. That might be ending. That might end up. That might be what we end up doing. But I've already learned just from reading around a little bit in this documentation about how like in Julia doc strings go above functions, and then you're not supposed to leave any white space between them and the function, as opposed to in Python, right, where if you have a doc string, it just goes inside the function call. So func doc string, and then you start writing your function, which I'm not gonna lie, I think is a little bit better. So Heka and Oscar more generally, they use these @doc macros, and so this is where I was just at. Trying to figure out what @doc raw means. So when used for retrieving documentation, the doc macro will search all meta dictionaries for metadata relevant to the given object and return it. The returned object, some markdown content for example, will by default display itself intelligently. This design also, which in my mind means that it will do something that you have no idea what it's supposed to do. This design also makes it easy to use the doc system in a programmatic way, for example, to reuse documentation between different versions of a function. You can call @doc foo @doc foo. Or for use with Julia's metaprogramming functionality, or f op in add, subtract, multiply, divide, eval. Again, f is op and @doc, add ab, adds ab, @doc, subtract ab, subtracts b from a. I wish that this had some examples of what this actually did when you then called the documentation on this. Documentation in non-top level blocks, such as begin, if, for, let, and inner constructor should be added to the documentation system via @doc as well. For example, if condition @doc f of x equals x, we'll add documentation f of x when condition blank is true. Note that even if f of x goes out of scope at the end of a block, its documentation will remain. It is possible to make use of metaprogramming to assist in the creation of documentation. When using string interpolation within the doc string, you will need to use extra dollar, as shown with $name. $name, y'all. Dynamic documentation. Sometimes the appropriate documentation for an instance of a type depends on the field values of that instance rather than just on the type itself. In these cases, you can add a method to docs.getDoc for your custom type that returns the documentation on a per instance basis. Struct myType value int and docs.getDoc. Documentation for my type with values. Okay, syntax guide. This is probably the more important one. This guide provides a comprehensive overview of how to attach documentation to all Julia syntax constructors, for which providing documentation is possible. In the following examples, quote ... is used to illustrate an arbitrary docstring. Dollar and backslash are still parsed as string interpolation or start of an escape sequence in docstrings 2. The raw string macro together with the @doc macro can be used to avoid having to escape them. This is handy when docstrings include LaTeX or Julia source code examples containing interpolation. Okay. Function fend, functions and methods. Adds docstring to the function f. First version is the preferred syntax, however both are equivalent. Adds to the method f any. Adds docstring to two methods, namely f. Macros. Macro mx and adds docstring to the @m any macro definition. Blah blah. It looks like, in my mind, it looks like in my mind the one thing that's used frequently is this @doc raw, and that's just essentially there to have some LaTeX output or Julia source code examples. So So in Heka, what are we looking for? We're looking for ways to make doc tests, what that even means. And I guess the other thing is maybe just to figure out, God, this is actually kind of annoying, not gonna lie. But if I do something like leave it up, then it takes up kind of a lot of space, right? It's really just my own issue then, because it only pops up if I go past the line. So I just have to not do that. I wonder if I mean, I could, yeah, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave the configuring out. I was gonna say, I wonder if I could do them commands for like shifting focus, and then I can only just use the keyboard. But I don't know if I care that much at the moment. So what are we looking for? We're looking to write our documentation and write examples. So package features. Examples. Should we do guide first? Package guide. Documenter is designed to do one thing: combine markdown files and inline doc strings from Julia's doc system into a single interlinked document. It follows a step-by-step guide, creating a simple document, to create a simple document. Documenter can be installed using the package manager. Firstly, we need a Julia module to document. This could be a package generated via packagedev.generate. So we have one. We already have a docs file also. Inside the docs folder, we need to add two things. A source folder, which will contain the markdown files that will be used to build the finished document, and a Julia script that will be used to control the build process. Following names are recommended: source and make. So if we go to docs, we see source and build, but we do have a make. So we've got documenter, Heka package, include normal join path, Heka package, docs, build.all, tutorials, build.make, Heka, local build doc test equals false, vtip press is the format, warn only false, should push preview, true. Deploy docs, okay. Man, I actually do want the Vim motions to go between the two. That's crazy. With our docs directory now open, now set up, we're going to build our first document. It'll just be a single empty file at the moment, but we'll be adding to it later on. We need to add the following to our make file using documenter example make docs. We've got build.make. This assumes you've installed Documenter as discussed in the installation, and that your example.jl package can be found by Julia. Now add an index.md file to the source directory. If you use Documenter's default HTML output, the name index.md is mandatory. So this is the @raw HTML. vtpress.dev reference default theme homepage. Layout home, hero, name, Heka, tagline, computational, blah, blah, blah. Actions, theme, alt, theme, alt, theme, alt, v1 GitHub. Feel like one thing that I think is actually not clear to me. So if we go to Oscar, there's a couple of different Oscar sites. This one, welcome to Oscar. What is Oscar? How to reach us? How to get started? How to contribute? How to cite? I think this is good. Heka has, let's see, if we go to the home page, we've got getting started, manual, if you want GitHub. I think that's fine too. I don't understand necessarily the how to get started thing. So if you're eager to dive into Oscar, our tutorials are a great place to start. These tutorials provide hands-on instructions to various topics in Oscar. While they offer a glimpse, they only scratch the surface. For a deeper understanding, read the documentation. Sure. And so it should be the same here that we get tutorials. So to use Heka, a Julia version 1.0 is necessary. Please see Julia link downloads for instructions on how to obtain Julia for your system. Once a suitable Julia version is installed, use the following steps at the Julia prompt to install Heka. Here's a quick example of using Heka to find a number field and compute its class group. Okay, this could be expanded in some sense. Like getting started in tutorials in my mind. I almost feel like getting started should just say something like install Julia, run this command. And then maybe the tutorial should be underneath it. Oscar has how to get started, CR tutorials. I think this is I think that this is actually pretty good. I mean, maybe you could say something more like, this is like the exact command that you put in, but I actually think that this is good. I don't really want too much information when it comes to this. Maybe I don't know. Okay, then we have the manual. That needs some tutorials and how-to guides. I think these are a little bit. And these should be definitely combined. Okay. Where were we? In here? No, in here. Okay. So we've got raw HTML, at raw HTML. Hero and features. Title. What is Heka? I want to see where this stuff gets put. There's a lot of stuff going on up here. Features, title, what is Heka? Heka is a software package for computational algebraic number theory. It is written in Julia and makes use of the computer algebra packages Nemo and abstract algebra. Oscar. Heka is part of the Oscar system, which covers, in addition to number theory, also commutative algebra, algebraic geometry, group theory, and polyhedral geometry. Features. This list is going to get very long, I think. So I think that some of this should be, yeah, some of this should maybe be rewritten too. So like this features thing, this is a big one that I don't really understand. What does Oscar do? Oscar doesn't really have like features, I guess, but it does have things like, let's see. Got frequently asked questions. Okay. Back to the guide. Leave the newly added file empty and then run following command from the docs directory. Julia project make.jl. Note that the dollar just represents the prompt character. You don't need to type that. If you'd like to see the output from this command in color use, put a flag for color. The docs folder should now contain a new directory called build. Its structure should look like the following: build, assets, documenter, themes, blah, 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 index. By default, documenter has pretty URLs enabled, which means that source/foo.md is turned into source foo index.html instead of simply source foo.html, which is the preferred way when creating a set of HTML to be hosted on a web server. However, this can be a hindrance when browsing the documentation locally, as browsers do not resolve directory URLs like foo to foo/index.html for local files. To view the documentation locally, it is recommended that you run a local web server out of the docs build directory. One way to accomplish this is to install the live server Julia package. You can then start the server with Julia using live server serve their docs build. Alternatively, if you have Python installed, you can start a server with Python 3, starting HTTP server, find localhost. Warning, you may see setups using makedocs. The intent behind this is to use pretty URLs equals false. The correct relative path that image would depend on the pretty URL setting. Consequently, the documentation might build correctly locally, but be broken on GitHub Actions or vice versa. Never git commit the contents of build to your repository's master branch. Always commit generated files to the GitHub Pages branch of your repository. This helps to avoid including unnecessary changes for anyone reviewing commits that happen to include documentation changes. Okay, so we want to view on GitHub. And there's a GitHub Pages branch, huh? Read me. What's in here? Nothing. Okay. So next we'll splice a doc string defined in the example module into the index.md module. To do this, first document a function in that module. So module example export funcx, return the double funcx. Then in the source.md file, add the following: @docs_func hashtag example.jl documentation. When we next run make.jl, the docstring for example.func should appear in the place of the @docs block. Note that more than one object can be referenced inside an @docs block. Just place each one on a separate line. Okay. Note that the @docs block is evaluated in the main module. This means that each object listed in the block must be visible there. Module can be changed to do to something else on a per page basis with @meta block as in the following. @meta current module equals example @docsfunc. Filtering included docstrings. In some cases, you may want to include a docstring for a method that extends a function from a different module, such as base. In the following example, we extend base.length with a new definition for the struct t, and also add a docstring. I'm trying to include this docstring with @docs_length. All the docs for length will be included, even those from other modules. There are two ways to solve this problem. By not including those ones is the solution. So either include the type in the signature, okay, or declare the specific modules that makedocs should include with. Makedocs, options, modules, my modules, cross-referencing. It may be necessary to refer to a particular docstring or section of your document from elsewhere in the document. To do this, we can make use of Documentor's cross-referencing syntax, which looks pretty similar to normal Markdown link syntax. Replace the contents of source index.md with the following. So we just have to replace each link's URL with @ref and write the name of the thing we'd link to cross-reference. For document headers, it's just plain text that matches the name of the header. And for docstrings, enclose the object in backticks. External cross-references. Okay, so I think I'm gonna change my laundry over, and then when I get back, I'll just start getting into it, I think. Start messing with things, seeing what happens is the idea. Alright, so BRB. Okay. Okay. And we're connected. So, what is the right way to go about changing or editing documentation? What happens if we even search? I mean, um, I think this should be updated. I think that this is actually a useful reference, but it's not pointing to the actual website, right? So like the Stacks project citations point to the actual website. So if you were to cite the Stacks project, it's just Stacks project authors, title, now published. I think this is a little bit better in terms of citing something inside this project. So we could just try doing something like everything is editable via the pages itself. Except for the concrete layout, like in here, features, citing Hecke, acknowledgement, Hecke is part of Oscar, and the development is supported by the Deutsche Forschungsgemeinschaft. 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 I don't know how to say that. Right, so let's see. Components how-to manual public. Function, maybe add warning. Documenter newest is defined in versions.js. Documenter current version, documenter stable. Tutorials, start. Getting started. To use Hecke, a Julia version of this is enabled. Here's a quick example of using Hecke to define a number field, compute its class group. I guess my question is that it's just is just, what is the point of a Julia doc test? So JL doc test blocks and Julia doc strings included in documentation. JL doc test blocks and Julia doc strings included in documentation of tests not run on them. I'm learning Julia and I'm trying to include doc tests in the doctrine functions in form of REPL examples. I can't get those doc tests to be run. Nothing happens when I include errors in the expected output. There's just a command, right? It appears the doc tests containing doc strings are only run if the module containing doc strings is specified in the make docs call. Amending the file doc test docs make.jl as follows should cause the doc test to fail. Okay, that's kind of useful to know. So in the make file, you have to have make docs. Deploy docs is what's included here. Build.make. Include. Build all tutorials. Deploy docs. So let's go to Gemini. Bring this over for a second. It's fine. So I don't know, this is probably a function specific to Documenter, right? And it automates the process of building and deploying documentation. The dash part is standard convention and command line interfaces. Stop parsing options here and treat everything that follows as positional argument. I didn't mean to have that as an actual thing. So the most frequent use case is to force push the documentation build from a continuous integration service like GitHub Actions. While force push equals true is the modern preferred way to achieve this. You might still see old configurations or examples that use command line argument. So the one thing... Okay, so... this is a novice question. I'm just wondering, like, what do people usually do? So if I just make documentation changes, should I make a new branch? This is a simple question. I just want to see what Gemini's going to output. It's usually more. I'm thinking, should I do this on a different branch like GH pages, or should I just make my own branch and then try committing that? Okay. That's fine. Let's see. So I'm going to clear this. I don't care about that at the moment. This one we're going here. And I want to see in Oscar what they recommend for developing. documenting code, and design decisions. I'm kind of curious about this. This is kind of what I wanted. In general, you have to do the following 6 steps for submitting changes to Oscar. Fork the main repository, get clone, get checkout, new feature, documentation feature. This is what we're gonna do. So, let me just start one down here. It's kind of annoying that these overlap. Is that because there's a minimal size of... Yeah, I think it is. So get checkout. Maybe just some algebra documentation. We're gonna start from the center, and then we're gonna work our way outwards. So we'll go into the manual, and we're gonna go into the manual. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that we can actually add. This is the one that I have spent the least amount of time with. Actually, ideals also. There's nothing in there. Okay. So this is the manual. Okay. So what am I gonna do? Documentation. Add documentation. It's kind of a shitty branch name, right? What do Tommy's branch names look like? I think it's fine. So we're going to get branch. We're on the add documentation branch. I want to know branch switch master. I want to get branch switch. Fuck. Get. So how am I going to delete a branch? So get branch minus D, branch name. there's a remote, right? I think it's just get fetch remote. Fatal remote does not appear to be a Git repository. Fatal could not read from remote repository. Please make sure upstream. Receiving objects done, resolving objects completed. Let's do inch minus DEM. And then close this. And we're gonna end it in here. So there's a couple of things. We're probably going to go into this and just edit so if I go into algebras and basics, it should be the same. Yep. Fuck. I almost feel like I have to have it organized this way just because of the... Maybe I can... Okay, I've got a different approach now. Maybe in settings for Zen, we can... somehow minimize this. Like that, yeah. This is essentially what we had on Firefox last time too. I think this is fine. Okay, and then how do I go through them? Is it control? Can I also do like control 2, control 1? No. Alright, whatever. So we're gonna go to intro and also see what it looks like physically. So I could start a local server so that I can see updates live. That's probably the best thing to do, which means that we need to follow the command, or we could just edit this page like this. Now let's try to figure this out. So create local server for, I think I want now in settings to no longer see the search features was essentially what I wanted to look up, and I no longer want it to pull up a new fuck. um yeah, I don't know. That's what we're gonna have for now. Okay. So this section describes the functionality introduction. Note, the functions described in this section are experimental or currently experimental. I don't know why I want to change that to currently. Oh wait, you know what I actually wanted to do was start a local server. So let's go to Gemini, right? I saw it in the documentation on documenter.jl. But so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna activate docs. Add live server. And then we should just be able to see, I guess, from a link. Okay. So this is still running, I guess. So far, we haven't added anything. We haven't made any progress. It's been an hour. BTpress. Building client plus server bundles. Some chunks are larger than 500 kilobyte after minification. Consider using dynamic import to code split the application. Just chunk size. Let's change this limit. So Okay, but why does it look like shit? The requested URL does not correspond to a resource on the server. Perhaps you made a typo in the URL, or URL corresponds to a file that has been deleted, or... I think I have to add the Documenter Vitae to my own local system. Also, I guess I should update NPM. I think that's also a local claim. Let's see. I don't remember. So just add maybe. Hmm. think I just haven't updated fucking anything from NPM is what I'm thinking is the issue to some extent. Let's do this. I'm about to just go into the start editing and then don't really care what it looks like until we see it changed. %99 of this so far has just been fucking around with nothing fun. Kind of don't want to spend any energy thinking about this. Yeah, it looks bad, doesn't it? I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna think about it. All right. We're going to close that shit. Edit this page. You're making changes in a project that you don't have write access to. Submitting a change here. We'll write it to a new branch in your fork so you can send a pull request. I could do that, or what I really just want is to see what I really want is to see. Oh my god. Why is this so awful? Why is this experience so awful? What do I want explicitly? I want to be able to see changes as I make them. And the thing that's annoying here is that the documenter.jl package has this special syntax, right? So like note, for example. So like changing something in that in just that syntax, is that going to affect, for example, you can see that like, you know, like here's a little n, here's a capital N. Is there any way to change this note? It's not clear unless you go to probably see the documenter.jl. Oh my god, why is this so awful? Okay. Preview documentation development instantly. You can preview your documentation development changes locally instantly by adding liveserver.jl into your docs environment and making a few tweaks to your make.jl configuration. What? I mean, you have to tweak your make.jl file, and then so that you can see your documentation update live, and then before you push, you have to tweak your file again so that it doesn't fail to deploy on the fucking deployment service like GitHub. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. Here are the tweaks to add. Navigate into your docs directory and add liveserver.jl. Within the Markdown Vitae Press configuration, you have your make.jl file. Pass the following two keyword arguments and their values. I didn't even see a Markdown Vitae. Within the Markdown Vitae Press configuration of our make.jl file. Using documents or Heka package. Okay, there's no live server in here. So we're gonna delete that. But I'm not gonna do it here. I'm going to do it in terminal. This is what I actually wanted. Okay. I am confused, and I think that I'm going to do following. So, fucking spelling something wrong? I think I actually know what it is. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go switch over laundry again. Just grab it. Okay. So let's see. There was one thing in the original Julia documentation that said we could also use Python to create a web server that we could use to view the documents. So that's like maybe that's what is happening instead. So let's try doing a new chat and saying oh. Okay, so I still have a bunch of crap that's not. And this also is so fucking annoying. Okay, so there was a mention of this in the documentation for this. So if we go to Julia documenting. Um, so I guess it was documenter.jl. This was the thing that I'm getting annoyed by too. Okay, so let's see. To view documentation locally, it is recommended that you run a local web server out of the docs build directory, which is what we just did, I thought. One way to accomplish this is to install a live server. You can then start the server using this. Alternatively, if you have Python installed, you can do. The one thing that I didn't do was HTTP server bind localhost. So Python 3 HTTP server. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. feel like this is probably a simple thing if you've done any amount of programming in the past, and I just am learning. But damn, it's frustrating when you're learning. Like, I find it hard to believe that I have to install Flask in order to see this work as a local. Okay. Hey, what is literate? And what's in Oscar? It's like a follow-up. So they've got like nothing. Documenter citations, JSON, and then compatibility, documenter citations, JSON. I'm gonna turn the mic off while I'm eating a little bit. Okay, maybe I was just fucking up. I accidentally added this as a dependency last time, so what I'm gonna try to do is just run this essentially. So we're gonna try just copy and pasting what they say, but we're doing this. Got crap again. So let's do. Okay. That one is actually good, right? Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so that was incredibly painful, is how I feel. And also totally manageable. Okay. So now we can actually start changing stuff, I think. Where do we change it? Like in here, for example? Let's try just, let's just try writing this and then going to the manual and algebra's introduction. And refresh. So it says R experimental, but I just saved it as our currently experimental. So let's see. Oh, it's because it's in the build. Fuck. Give me a second, actually. Cancel this shit. So the thing that we don't have is an update to the build directory as we go. So we can update the files, it's totally fine inside docs, but we have to build also. Okay, so let's cancel this and do where are we directory wise? Yeah, that didn't return shit. Yeah, okay. I was pretty sure that there was some compatibility issue with Nemo last time I ran it, with Julia, in this way, so... Fuck, that one. I have to add all of these packages that need to be run for the dependencies. That's fine. It's gonna have another dependency. Meanwhile, let me go over here and just do like... It's kind of crazy to me. I mean, I think this says that it says in 1,000 size blocks, so I think this says that I've used 107 gigs? Is that true? Not a lot. The thing that's not cool is that this looks exactly how it was when I was getting upset with it, and it was working. Just a minute ago. Like, what is up with this shit? In docs build. Why is it not working? realized what was going wrong. Which is crazy. Okay, this should give me some error, right? That's not what I want. This is also not what I want. Okay, so I just fucked it all up, and I need to go back. Already on master. That's not right. Okay. Delete all this shit. That's not right. Hi. Yeah. Hi. You wanna come up on my lap? Yeah. I'm locking you down though. Can't fight that too hard. It's got claws. All right. I'm gonna have to BRB. Clean my cat up. Okay. So far, what has been done today is absolutely nothing. I feel like I'm just gonna do this. Just do that. I think I might just delete this branch, because I just am like so confused to some extent. My local build is what's fucked, is what it seems like to some extent. And let's see. So this is in was in doc source tutorials. And then Quaternion MD and Index MD. Also public tutorials. So that's all gone now. I kind of want to delete build. How do I do this? So let's try. Let's just see what is in tutorials right now. Okay, great. Okay, so we're trying to see. Okay, so I'll ask it to myself first. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to build the docs for this Julia project in particular. Gemini fucking sucks. Should we go to Polymarket? See if we have any predictions on the best AI tool in 2025. Which companies will have a #1 AI model this year? That's not the one that we want, though. Boo. Though this one's actually kind of interesting sometimes. This behavior is kind of interesting. Because the no change has been going up, even though 67% chance for a decrease in interest rates is still on the table. Alright. Okay. So... actually, you know what we should have done? We should have figured out what... Okay. Does it have a history? That's not the same, I mean, these branches all don't exist anymore. That's why I think that's weird. Okay, so now we've got this. We're going to do the following. So we can just make changes. I don't know if live server actually builds something that stays around and follows updates. So we're gonna say let's say The one thing that we want is for changes to be visible as we make them to the source files, which at the moment is not going to be true. We want to find the serve docs documentation at some point, and then man, oh man. All right. I think I might call it here for today. Trying to think about what is the path forward. It's actually not so hard now. I think I have it figured out, at least how the local server's running. So a big issue is just using the vitepress.jl package instead of just the documenter.jl package. We can't directly track the changes made to source files. So every time we want to see an update inside the local server, we have to rebuild the docs. And then we might either have to refresh the server or restart it completely. That's not the end of the line, right? That just means that is what we do to write the documentation. The thing that I'm thinking is like, just yeah, I think we're gonna end, and I'm just gonna think about things. Thanks again. Just living through the struggle, I guess, and then maybe see you around.